So we are on a journey to, yes, Ashok was asking, today is the meditation. Every day is the meditation day. Meditation is a state of consciousness which proves, helps me to experience that I am real self. I am real self. How intellect becomes steady and mind changes to recognize the inner self. That is uh, our topic today. Or we can say, am I consciousness? Yes. Who has to recognize? First, who has to understand it? Intellect. And who has to recognize and experience the mind? Same thing. Same thing. So, last couple of sessions, we are understanding superimposition and desuperimposition. It is very easy to understand wave to water. From where the wave has come, who is the father of wave? What? Mother of wave? What? Friend of wave? What? Who created wave? What? Who is the teacher of everything? So, example goes outside, but it does not bring us a realization. It gives some clue and understanding. And that is why we need to listen and learn again and again and again. Listening, learning, contemplation, and reflection ultimately helps us to absorb into the meditation. Last session, I think we discussed about Plato's observation on human behavior, emphasizing the tendency we have. Okay, okay, Dennis. So, so you see that Plato's observation on human behavior, our tendency is prioritize future over the present, and that is the biggest superimposition. Understanding the idea that the people live as if they will never die, yet die as if they never lived, highlights the importance of awareness. Awareness or consciousness, that is what we need to understand. That is what we need to understand clearly. My friends, yes, in the last session on Thursdays, I told you the story of Rama and the Vasishtha. How many stories I have to tell you, and what is going to happen to you? I did not talk about it, but I'll give you a brief of it. The Vasishtha tells first story, Rama, and asks the Rama, that, did you understand? Yes, sir. That is a formal education. Yes, sir. That is an extreme Rajoguna. In Rajoguna, you don't clearly understand, still you claim you have understood it. Then the Vasishtha tells the second story. Did you understand? Yes, sir. Now there are two possibilities. Either you are sleeping or you are still in little bit of Rajo and Satoguna. Rajo and Satoguna. I'm just so that you will understand how these three gunas plays. And then he tells another story. There are almost, I would say, not less than 500 stories. So he continues narrating the story, and the last story he tells, Rama, did you understand? The Rama's eyes are closed. He has totally steadiness in the body, and you see the glow. You also feel that this guy is not sleeping. 99% of the satoguna. And the master leaves now, said that let me do my work and I will come back. He is absorbed into meditation. So, do you see that? So, the journey of Eastern wisdom is little different. So, we'll start with the understanding that superimposition and desuperimposition. Any thought expressed that I understand is a kind of superimposition, but that is very subtler level, very higher level that we will. Uh, that is why we say the silence is the language of the God or the real self or the consciousness. I just gave these thoughts to your mind. Waking state by default. By default, I perceive the world every day. I talk to you. You are Dennis. You're David. You're Jerry, and you're Stephen. And every day it happens. So every day we experience the pain and the pleasure. It never comes to the mind or intellect that there is a real I and there is a false I. So the master says, listening and learning is the key, but listening and learning is not the guarantee. Why it is not a guarantee? From which mind you are listening, that depends on you. Your mind is not pure and clear, it will not be steady, it will not be absorbed. But what then Master says that not all listening and learning is the same. We can understand that, but by continuous listening and learning based on the teachings. It is not my teaching. I don't know anything. It is the teachings that helps us to get rid of this imposition and superimposition. Last week, you all shared your experiences that strip all the superimposition. And is there a desire that I am conscious? No, no. If the thought is there that am I consciousness, then there is a desire that I'm consciousness. Let me prove it. Let me prove it intellectually. That will cover at least the preliminary steps of the meditation. Your mind will be extraordinarily aware and attentive to that. So we will talk about directly huh, the superimposition. Strip all superimpositions. Superimposition is what I discussed, that they are false layers we project onto the reality. Like I identify myself with the body, with the mind, with the ego. And one of you said that stripping all this. So, yes, stripping them means seeing the self as pure consciousness. That is the meaning. But example is like a movie screen. When a movie plays, you see the characters and emotions in the drama, forgetting the screen, but the screen remains unchanged, unaffected by the movie. So it means that I am that which remains unaffected, which is of the nature of the consciousness, and the consciousness is the nature of the peace, happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. Obviously, I am settled in meditation. When? All the time. So there are two processes of first, I recognize what is superimposition and then I desuperimpose. They appear two, but they are again basically one. Switch on the light. One, darkness is gone too, but they both are one event. That mind cannot fathom if the mind is not pure. So, Master says, understand superimposition clearly, understand it clearly, prove it again and again into your mind. So, we have a famous example of a rope in a snake. In a dusk, I see something which appears as a snake, but fact is that it is a rope. Where the idea of a snake has come to the mind, why I get scared. Eyes cheats me, eyes deceives me. Eyes sees the body, this is my body. Compare it. This is what happens in our life every day. You have never met a girl, and today you met, and now soulmate. Very good. Soulmate. And the one, the real self that is located in you, that is not your soulmate. You are conscious, your body is conscious, your mind is conscious because of that consciousness. That is not our soulmate. So, by giving this example, now think of where the snake has come. And when you switch on the light, when you understand switching on the light, now dusk is not there, it is full of light, and I see where the snake has gone. The same way, my mental conditioning related to superimposition dissolves. And we reach to that one point, that I am consciousness. In a dark night, we say ghost is there. Ghost is not there. But mind say, I saw it in darkness. It may be my shadow. Do you think, do you know that where I'm going? I saw you are crazy, but craziness is not you. Very subtle. Do you see that? Well, if you are crazy, mind gather the impressions of the craziness, and the mind is another superimposition. So you cannot be. So now we have to understand this desuperimpposition. Can it work by meditating? Can we get rid of the superimposition? If it works by meditation, yes, you are to be a seeker. And a seeker has the purity of the mind. Become aware, recognize, and realize that contents of the mind makes the mind impure, whether that content has a superimposition in it or not. Then purity of the mind, and then you understand that this is not me, and it becomes clear. In the last couple of sessions, I was going lightly, but we have to understand. So if you say that if you do not understand, I will go back in a very easy way. So upon close examination, I realized the snake is never there. Upon close examination, I understand that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am none of the thoughts. Simply saying will not work. So, what is the process? The process is the negation of the snake reveals the true nature of a rope. So, if your mind says, no, I don't believe I'm the body, then the journey finished. Then what the Plato said is done. Then we are not doing a self inquiry. Then we will not reach there. But then, otherwise, if I'm repeating consistently, just mechanically, habitually, even that will not work. So I have to sit down. That is why we have a second step is the contemplation and reflection. And you are contemplating and reflecting. You are contemplating and reflecting. You need not to practice meditation. You will enter into the state of meditation. I gave an example. Rama, Vasishtha, how many stories I should tell you? So no, there may be another aspect in the modern world, when you're telling a story, the speaker is speaking and you're feeling lazy and you're sleeping. This is not the case. That you enter into a higher level of awareness and you are absorbed completely. Oh, this is it, what you are saying. I have no words to explain it. I am absorbed. Did you understand? Even you don't say that I'm absorbed. To get that level of self absorption, I say you start with the Mangala Charan, auspiciousness, and the mantra in the morning. Then you listen and learn again and again. There should be a contemplation and reflection. Then, obviously, do any practice. You can pick up the practice from the Mondays and Thursdays session, or if not, then continue contemplation and reflection until you are absorbed like a Rama. So, in a way, you're telling a story to your mind that, oh, this is superimposition, this, okay, everything. And then you find that, yes, I am not the body and the mind. I am not the uh, thoughts and the contents of the mind. And ultimately, you recognize the subjective awareness that is that is what, and you will find that it changes your behavior. It changes your behavior and attitude in life. So if it changes your behavior and attitude in the life, then you apply the wisdom daily in your life. Finished. Done. Done. Uh, so the question again comes, you may have a question how to remove this superimposition of daily events from the relations, from the work that I am doing. Simple, close examination. I have to perform the self inquiry. And once I do the self inquiry, I have to end the negative emotions like anxiety, hesitation, anger, false notion about people, about events, about relationships. If I don't remove that, now what it has to do, you are crazy for me and I have reacted. I am angry over you. What happened? What it to do with my real self? No, it will not work. It is a perception of the mind. It is a superimposition of the mind. All of my anxiety, hesitation, anger, this is at the very beginning level of superimposition. If I don't remove this superimposition, I will not be able to recognize and realize the real self. But on the other hand, it helps us in our personal, professional, and social life. Even though the master never tells this, that you are benefited because of your change in behavior. your responses. You're getting rid of the sense. Master directly says, no, you have to get rid of this superimposition. Uh, Go back to the example of a snake. Snake is a projection of my mind, while the rope is the underlying reality. Same way, my anxiety, my anger, my false notions are projections of my conditioned mind. Behind that, there is a real. Oh, it is only a projection. So by understanding, I understand my anger, anxiety reaction. Answer is big yes. Modern science opposes this. At least when you are doing a self discovery, don't go there until you prove yourself. There is no anger management, there is no anxiety management in our self discovery. We say they are superimpositions. But first thing, do you get an idea and are you motivated? Oh, they are only superimpositions? Means they are not me? Yes. It took a couple of years, almost, I would say, 10 to 12 years. Frequently, she has been attending this session, this 89-year-old woman. But can you imagine that at the age of 89, I'm contemplating like this? So she was telling me after contemplation that it all comes because of the delusion. And delusion means what appears true is not me. What appears real for me is the body and the mind is not that. What the Plato said. Indirectly, it is helping her brain also at this age. Normally, we talk, oh, you have that age, so you have a lot of challenges. Uh, So now just see the other side of it. Superimposition is anxiety, anger, false notion. They are different projections and our reaction, our perception about other people. I have to pause. I have to pause and detach myself in order to recognize that superimposition. You can say that is a step. So before reacting, take a moment to pause. Detachment doesn't mean indifference, but observing the situation without emotional coloring. I have a lot of pain without emotional coloring. That is why I told you this journey is for the higher level of a seeker. So nowadays we have started saying, take a deep breath and remind yourself. Yes, but it has to be supported by this these principles. So once I'm fairly relaxed, there is a sense of detachment, then only I can investigate the source of emotion, of anxiety, of reaction, etc. Ask yourself, let me ask myself that am I reacting to? Is my response rooted in facts or assumptions? Am I projecting my past fears or judgments onto this situation? There is a snake in the row. Am I projecting my past fears or judgments onto this situation? We have started the self inquiry. I have broken into different parts. Is my response rooted in facts or assumptions? What I am reacting to? Let me ask myself and see what happens to your anxiety, anger, and reaction. I'm not opposing what the science offers. Our goal is different. So when you feel hesitated towards a colleague or a friend or your honey, reflect, am I upset about their words or my interpretation of their words? Did you understand this? Am I upset about their words or my interpretation of their words? Well, my interpretation means my mind. If the mind lives in ignorance, it has a very heavy interpretation. That how many times you reacted to me without any substance, because that is why now I'm done with you. Let us file the papers of divorce. So you see that is very so. Once I ask this question, sit every day, any day, am I the body? But it has to be done with the clarity, with the calmness of the mind. Let us move to the next. Separate the facts from projections. Separate the facts from projections. Presence of the light from the dusk to full light removes the projection of the snake and the rope. So we are trying to bring it at the application level. What is the fact? The rope exists. It will continue to exist. What is the projection? The snake is a projection. No, I'm upset with you. Oh, okay. Hold on. Upset. I'm upset with you is a projection. You as a human being exist. Let us start from there. Examine the situation as it is. You're not changing anything. You're not doing anything. Normally, what we say, if you say sorry, then I will see that, then we will continue to have a relationship. And after a few weeks, no, you have said sorry 10 times. You are not changing. Come on, why you are not changing? Why you are obstinate? Why you want to change others? Why don't you change yourself? It's a big projection. Are you getting it? Are you understanding? I'm insisting you that you are not changing. So that insistent is another projection in my mind. Did you get it? So the fact the rope exists, projection, the snake is an illusion. I'm just breaking up that parts. Examine the situation as it is, not as your mind imagines it to be. What actually happened? Tell me what happened. What story? Fact, a friend didn't reply to your message projection. They don't care about me. Let every human being care about themselves. No one has a time to care others. Are you understanding that point? I can tell you frankly, including your honey, do the close examination and let me know. Don't tell him or her. They are busy in their own story of life. Stephen. But it doesn't mean that I am not expressing my love and care to anyone. We need a very hard truth. I don't want to go there. My mind says I don't go to the alternative truth. You have to go to the hard truth. So now, once you understand, when you separate the fact from the projections, what you do? You apply negation. We have a neti neti. The principle here of de-superimposition is neti neti. What is neti neti? Not this, not this, not this. Now there are 10 houses, and we are standing in front of. Is this your house? No. Is this? No, 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 yes. Because you said 9 houses is not you, so I will move into the 10th house. Easier said than negate. So now there is no emotional coloring. You have a clarity of fact in the projection. Negate what? Anger is not me. Anxiety is not me. It is not permanent. This thought is not a reality. So what happens to you? Finished. That is what she learned. I did not teach her from this text, but from another. I made it very simplified. So she is settled in that, ignorance is first. I don't know who am I. Then only impurities of the mind takes place. It superimposition. So that causes the delusion. I did not talk to her about superimposition, delusion, and then delusion. I recognize that delusion. And the delusion causes the foolishness. There are 5 types of foolishness. It builds your ego, vanity. Huh? It has a wicked conversation. You continue talking that you are responsible for all. So let us move ahead. Then you see the bigger picture. What is the bigger picture? You shift your perspective. What is that perspective? Is this emotion event significant in the grand scheme of life? What is that even? Anger, hesitation, reaction, blame, complaint, etc., etc. Are these events significant in the grand scheme of life related to what Plato said? You will come to know. You will laugh at yourself. Come on, leave this. What is the lesson I learned? I'm making it very practical by giving examples, superimposition, desuperimposition. My master used to say, "Oh, mind, be at peace. This will also pass." We remember intellectually, we don't examine, we don't apply. Ashok has heard it 100 of times. And that is, did you do the self inquiry? No. So where you stand? Now, I have inquired about my honey, my wife. She is the source of all the problems. So that is one my master used to say, "The mind be at peace, this will also pass." Another way, another way, the modern thinkers say that I'm an observer, not the observed. I am the observer, not the observed. What is the observed? Anger, hesitation, reaction, blame, complaint. But I'm still an observer. Well, I gave you the third solution. Oh, I got angry. Very good. This is an opportunity to grow, not define what I am. I'm not an anger. I'm not an hesitation. Why? Because I can't. I don't live. I don't have a luxury to live in anger and hesitation 24 by 7. So now you have these bigger picture. Once you have a bigger picture, act from the clarity. Once you have discussed the truth, respond. You don't react. Then what happens? What happens? Very pragmatic approach. Instead of lashing out at loved one, calmly express your feeling, focusing on the situation rather than blaming. Does it benefit you? Yes, it brings the state of the calmness. You are more aware, and gradually we recognize, we realize our real self. I think this is a very good movement. Day after tomorrow is the Christmas. So maybe 2 days or 3 days after. Mm. So when you contemplate and reflect, your mind will reveal that is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom, that your mind will reveal more or less the same ideas, same thoughts, which our masters have done it. One is that understanding is clear, the teacher taught to you, you have understood the principle. But now, during the contemplation and reflection, your mind more or less reveals the same. You are already absorbed into meditation. Your mind is like a mirror. Emotions are smudges. Clearing means discernment reveals the clarity. I'm just adding those things. The cloud in the sky, negative emotions are like clouds passing by. Your true self is the vast, unaffected sky. So when we stay rooted in awareness, like a lighthouse guiding ships amid storms, we normally don't observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment, realizing they are temporary. Another way the modern thinkers have said journaling, write down, daily analysis, conclude. Take a practical example. Arguments leading to hesitation. Honey doesn't agree with me, deeply attached to my hesitation arises when we identify with our emotions, superimpositions like anger or frustration. Before responding, take a deep breath, mentally say, I'm not my hesitation. This is passing wave in my mind. Because I was not in hesitation before this event, and this hesitation is not going to continue for 24 by 7. We are trying to understand that how this superimposition and superimposition, these two principles can be easily applied in our daily life. Why? Not only to purify the mind, but ultimate goal is to find the real self. Think another way. Investigate the source of the argument. Ask yourself, what is the core issue? Oh, the core issue is that, my honey says the couch should be placed on the right side. And I have an issue, it should be placed on the left side. All problems are like this. I can tell you. You just think of it. I like espresso, you like mocha. Can you take all the superimpositions like this? You are always free. My honey asked me, what should I cook? Cook what you like. Should I cook this? Yes. Finished. But I also have some preferences. So, what is the core issue? Am I projecting my past grievances or pleasure onto this conversation? Am I seeking validation, control, or argument? Seeking validation in that, I'm already creating another level of superimposition, and it is not going to help me to find my real self. Simple. But what it has to do with the couch, because no, it has nothing to do with the couch, it has to do with your mind, mental state. My mind should be totally free from all kinds of superimposition, starting from the couch to the coffee. Then only I can recognize this real self. Otherwise, there is no way. One guy was telling me that it is very difficult, challenging that, my spiritual life, as long as I'm with you, you give me the meditation and I'm into the spiritual world. The moment I start doing my profession, oh, there is such a big gap you have created, the spiritual and the material life. No, it will not work. You'll enter into hypocrisy. So now see that the effects and projections, your honey has a different perspective. Left or right, let it be. Let it be. Because I'm on a journey to self-discovery. Projection, and what is the projection? Can you imagine? Your spouse, your honey, or relations, or anyone has a different perspective. What is the projection? They don't respect my opinion. That is my projection in my mind. That is my interpretation. They don't care about me. Well, just placing the couch on the right and the left, just offering your mocha or espresso. Come on, Plato. Go to the Plato. That's why I brought Plato. So we understand that disagreement does not mean disrespect. It is just a difference in the thought. Imagine two rivers. Masters are very good in giving you the metaphors. Imagine two rivers flowing side by side. They have a different path, but eventually merge into the ocean. That is why we say, oh, you are trying to prove that you are right by your anger and reaction. It's okay. One day you will also understand. Acknowledge the difference calmly. I'm giving more interpretation. I see we have different views. That is okay. Let us explore why we see it differently. I explore myself and I calm down. And then the honey says, you see that? I have put the couch on the left side. It looks so nice. And you approve it. Think of it. These are the issues we need to think again and again and again. It happens with the body also. It happens with the body. Just before the start of this session, I was writing something, and then my mind says, I feel still blurry because doctor said that at least for a couple of months you'll feel blurry, clear, blurry, clear. So I said, okay, I have already kept my goggles, to wear it and put it. Finished. In modern scenario, we say that you reframe the situation, you practice empathy. Yes, that is also good. At least, we will start the journey internally. There is another way to say, your honey or any, honey means anything, anyone. So your honey is like a mirror reflecting different parts of the reality. You may not like all the reflections, but they reveal valuable insights for the mutual growth. And that will help you to absorb deeper into that higher awareness. Close your eyes. Close. Eyes are closed. Superimposition. When I say eyes are closed, is it not a superimposition? I'm not saying what it is. You just recognize it. So if it is, and still in a journey, I'm saying close your eyes and be aware. Oh, so is it if am I moving from the gross, the physical superimposition to the subtle superimpositions? I'm just recognizing what I have to do with eyes closed to meditate when I see the entire world with all my sense organs receiving the inputs. I'll just talk about only superimposition and desuperimposition. It looks odd to you, but if you listen to it again and again, you will find a substance in what I'm saying. I am aware of the body. You can say to yourself, yes, I'm aware of the body. Yes, at present, when I'm aware of the body, my mind has left millions of the thoughts and feelings and emotions related to the world. Is it a change in the direction? Yes, change in the direction. This change in the direction is to move from superimposition to desuperimposition. Otherwise, I will continue to relate myself with lot of the thoughts, past impression, body, mind, home, and long list. Just see that. And we have already done it. What we have done it, oh, you experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. That is a primary level of the journey. People take it, it is, oh, meditation helps me to relax. The inbuilt mechanism of meditation is relaxation and calmness. What are you talking about? So, sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Where I feel the sensation in the body, am I the body? Answer is no. So that sensation with that body is also, I recognize. Let me continue to have that experience of relaxation or sensation or calmness in the body. But still, I'm aware that comfort is experienced by the mind, and the mind is also observed with that experience. Hence, it is another level of superimposition. And the stillness. How can I say stillness? There cannot be any stillness. I have not seen anything, any matter, anyone in the world which is totally still. I'm talking of relative stillness in the body. Yes, that is superimposition. Mondays, Thursdays sessions are totally different than this one. I was playing with AI and I asked that are you a human, bird, or animal? Who you are? I'm none of these. Answer came that I'm none of these. I'm a language model. I'm a tool. Oh, so this is a tool. I don't want to use, but still I'm using so that I will stop using it being carefree. So in carefree, there are two things observer and observed. knower and the known. What it means, it simply means all experiences taking place in the mind. So, whatever you experience, good, bad, high, low, observed, all that is observed may not be real. All that is perceived may not be real. That's why we give an example of a rope and the snake. Oh, so I have to be very careful in examining all my experiences, thoughts, and memories, including the anxiety in daily life. Oh, yes. And then the observer, who is the observer? It is different and separate from all my experiences. That is how I know whether there is a snake or rope. Who is that? That is a knower, that is a conscious. That is a conscious principle. Oh, I'm conscious. Therefore, I'm consciousness. None of these. Can I stay there? Can I stay there? I cannot because my mind is distracted to other thought. If it is distracted to the other thought, it is inviting other superimpositions. Maybe resistance, maybe clarity, any superimpositions. Our journey of meditation will be entirely different on Saturday's sessions. If you don't understand, listen to it again. Contemplate and reflect again and again and again. And once you reach that observer and observed are two separate events, then we can really appreciate what we can appreciate. Here is a superimposition and here is a desuperimposition. So at the top of the mind, we are fully aware that we are not doing anything. We are not doing anything. It is just a reflection and being aware and understanding. That is what is happening. We can also use one superimposition as a fact as compared to the other. That is what Buddha did. You just look at the breath and be aware of the breath going in and out. So we continue to be consistent on the flow of the breath. And in that flow of the breath, we recognize passing experiences from the past into our mind. Sometime the mind will remember the past event, sometime the mind will remember the honey. Let it happen. But the flow of the breath, you are aware of the flow of the breath is constant. We'll go into a deeper practice of this so called flow of the breath. Awareness is there, and then the rest separates from it by feeling of emotion, experiences, everything. In that flow of the breath, observer and observed, I'm saying these are two things. Can you perceive a complex program that is mind that is processing the thought, feeling, and emotions and generates a response based on our past? That's all. It's another language model. So what happens, my friends? You are continue contemplating and reflecting. Every day, and one day it happens that you are totally absorbed. Your honey calls you, come on, but you're totally absorbed. It happens. We are talking of that state of meditation because your mind is now deeply in love with what you are doing. Why? Because it has been searching. What we recognize as the consciousness is like an ocean. Over it, there are millions and trillions of superimpositions of waves, of plants, of algae, beings. Mm, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. Share our experiences now. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. Um, these Saturday lessons has made me has it's created my contemplation reflection lately has been driven around perception and reality,
Yeah.
and and obviously the topic of all of this, and perception obviously is in the mind. Um, and I think last week I said is like taking this piece, saying, okay, the perception sits in the mind, and reality is the real self. And
Yes.
what happened what happened this week, which really brought clarity to it, is that I was getting ready for bed, and I walked into the closet, a dark closet, and on the ground looked like there was a snake.
Oh,
And I was like, what the heck? And I immediately turned the light on, and it was just the belt to my wife's robe. And immediately the snake and the rope metaphor came to me, and I was like, wow, if we could just shut our perception off as quick as turning the light switch on, which then was like, oh, I finally get what you're trying to say in all of this, because it wasn't until I actually experienced it that it was like, wow, I wish it was that quick. And the contemplation reflection since that moment for me has been around the fact that um, perception is the mind driven with the desires, the dualities, the pain, the suffering, and all of that can be shut off with a light switch. By
yes.
understanding that it's all driven by my ego. It's driven by the interpretation as it relates to me. And then immediately what I thought about was, I'm not worthy of the suffering. So who am I to
Good.
think that everything is about me, or that it's related to me, or that anyone else's perceptions or problems relates to me? It's just egotistical on my part. And it was like this moment of just an acceleration of just getting it. And it's now this metaphor of that light switch just sits with me, and I'm like, that's not happening. Light on, that's not light on. And so it continued through today. And sometimes I wonder whether I embrace like the things I'm thinking about and contemplating, reflecting about, that you're talking about it, and my hearing it the right way, and going the right way. But it feels good and it feels right. And it led into today's meditation of just absolute, you know,
Good.
calmness and peace. So thank you.
Yeah, another wonderful way to contemplate and reflect. You're contemplating and reflecting, and suddenly I see the light falling on the wall. Oh, it is a projection. It is a superimposition from the uh, glasses of the window. Because if I'm using these metaphors, it helps me to relate to myself. Oh, it is my perception and the reality. These are the two things. You rightly said and beautifully said. Wonderful. Thank you. How are you, Samir?
Sir, I think as you start going deep into meditation, the priorities of your life starts changing within you,
Yeah.
and you give more weight to this peace, harmony, instead of these unnecessary thoughts and unnecessary desires. And if you
Yes.
start understanding these quite, then your life changes in means it takes a 360-degree circle, and you start understanding where you will find the peace and harmony, and where you will find the true means happiness of life, instead of running after all these things. So because I am doing whole day, I'm doing business, and then I'm doing this meditation, so I am able to contemplate and compare the worldly life and meditation life day every day, means in every
Good.
day in my daily routine. Means, so I start finding the difference, and now I'm not going into unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary feeling, taking revenges, nothing like that.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. You are proving Plato idea. What Plato said? Uh, People live as if they will never die. We have that sense of, and that is one of the deepest superimpositions we have in our life. Yet we die as if we never lived. So once we are very clear about it, and where we are clear, it is a matter of awareness. Beautifully said. How are you, Dennis?
Thank you for the lesson. I was just examining and recognizing my own projections and superimpositions and seeing how they are unreal, negating them, and experiencing how the mind is less and less interested in chasing these superimpositions and projections. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Wonderful. So you just recognize all those super what it takes. Oh, it takes a lot of effort. No, it doesn't take a lot of effort. I'm living consciously from moment to moment. That is one. Another, it will take some effort in the beginning. Do you start asking the question, is it superimposition, having a house? I already have a house. This house is 86 years old. So you can use those, and then you see, yes, answer is yes. And then you are settled into that knowledge. And when you are settled into the knowledge, one thing that, oh, is it a dream, or it is a projection, or it is, am I following the wrong path or right? You are feeling more peace and happiness, as Stephen said. Obviously, I'm moving ahead in the right direction. Very good. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Your lesson today, the lesson today was just filled with all kinds of nuggets. It was very impactful. The mind is filled with these impositions that are either gained by experience, that are falsely put upon them, and the realization is that our job is to really cleanse the mind and focus on controlling the mind and those false impositions that are presented to us through our mind. So
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Yes, the more you listen and contemplate and reflect, you need not to worry about the impurities of the mind. They start dissolving. They will make a clear perception. So now we already have heard anger, hesitation, blame, complaint is nothing but the superimposition. Maybe when you are contemplating and we are living in the world, and the moment we recognize, oh, am I blaming? And you hear those, oh, this is superimposition, let me drop it and rethink. So when you start rethinking, the life changes. So we don't talk unlike, it is unlike modern science, anger management, anxiety management. Oh, we have never a world like this in Eastern wisdom. Very good. Thank you. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good. Thank you. I also like the light switch
Yeah,
idea. It keeps
it's a
it
good
really
idea.
simple. Just turn on the light, sit in the darkness, the light will shine. And sometimes I kind of, to Stephen's reflection. Sometimes I think that when we're doing our contemplation and reflection, we may be focusing on that external world, or and there was a time maybe a year ago, 6 months ago, I don't remember how long it's been now, where you encouraged us to write our reflection and contemplation to you, like a little synopsis of our meditation. And I really appreciate that, because you're there for us to know if our contemplation and reflection is on the right path. Because sometimes if we're putting that on that external world, then we're off path. So and that's all the light switch stuff, like you said today. I mean, we can instantly see where we're blaming, complaining, irritated, and just ask ourselves why. But it's not always that easy.
It is not always easy. But yes, even after committing mistakes, we reach to a point where, oh, that guy is crazy. What? That is light. Light is here. In our case, it is awareness. We have not to say, let me switch on the light, whether I'm blaming or not. So that is a light of awareness. That we need to understand. But, by regularly contemplation, reflection, we reach to that state of awareness. It's not a big deal. How are you, Terry? Terry has stopped complaining to her.
I have, yes, there was a lot of good advice of how to see situations and people.
Yes.
And if the negative emotions are projection, what about the positive emotions? I was just wondering.
They will just come to you once you get rid of the negative emotions. Once you switch on the light, the darkness will go by itself. And the very light will manifest all those positive emotions.
So the positive emotions are like the rope? Are
like
they what is really there?
Yeah, they will manifest from the consciousness. They will manifest from the real self. They will manifest from the real self. So what happens in a real life scenario? For example, I blamed you and then I said, what? So I have stopped, but my mind is in fix to convey the positive emotion to you. In the beginning of a journey that happens. So if it happens, don't do it, just remain silent. But gradually what happens, it goes away and you switch on to your positive emotion and expression instantly. So that, it takes time, because then the mind has made its a habit. So that to break that habit, it takes a little bit of time, but internal calmness is always there. Internal calmness is always there. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, namaste, sir. Sir,
Namaste.
nothing to ask.
Nothing. Oh, I always say to say something, and you say that nothing to ask.
Nothing to ask.
मैंने
कहा सर कुछ पूछना नहीं है. Nothing to ask.
चलो ठीक है. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.